Puss Gets the Boot is a really interesting short cartoon for several reasons. The first is that it was nominated for the Best Animated Short Film in 1940. It didn't win, the Milky Way from Harmonizing won, but this was nominated as well as Wild Hare. Both are Schlesinger production cartoons. No Disney's that year at all. This one, I feel like maybe in hindsight could have won, because this is actually the predecessor to what we now know as Tom and Jerry. We have a cat called Jasper and a mouse called Jinx. And in terms of the animation style, I'd say the mouse very much looks like Jerry. The cat is recognisable as Tom, but his face looks quite a bit different. But this is what is now kind of considered to be the first Hanna-Barbera Tom and Jerry cartoon. And Jinx, the mouse, is in the cat's domain. And the cat is obviously going insane, trying to catch this mouse, running into things, making a mess. And then this character called Mammy Two Shoes. I assume she is so called. She appears in the Tom and Jerry films. I assume that's her name because we only ever really see her feet. Two Shoes? I don't know. There may be another reason for it. She comes along and tells Thomas that Jasper, that if he keeps breaking things, he will be put out of the house. And of course, Jinx, the mouse, sees this as a challenge and thinks, well, let's try and create even more chaos and get the cat into trouble and get him kicked out of the house, and the mouse can live happily ever after in peace. I'm not going to say what happens because it's quite an interesting journey to watch unfold, but I really thoroughly enjoyed it. If I had never heard of Tom and Jerry, if I wasn't looking at this as an early example of a Tom and Jerry cartoon, maybe I wouldn't look at it so fondly, because I feel like there are a lot of cartoons that try and do a similar thing with a cat and mouse. But as a precursor to Tom and Jerry, as a piece of cartoon history, it's an absolute delight to watch, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Although the cat's animation style is a little different to Tom's, the rest of it does feel quite Tom and Jerry-esque, and it's good chaotic fun. They get into all kind of silly situations. Really, I can't fault it. It's a delightful watch if you're a fan of Tom and Jerry. I grew up in love with Tom and Jerry, so for me this was a pleasure. And I have to say, I don't think it should have won. No, I don't know. I feel like in hindsight it might have won, but as a token of what was to come. But obviously they can't know what is to come. But the winner also being heavily involving cats is obviously fantastic. Either way, Puss Gets the Boot, an absolute joy.